Right now at 6, Carl Junction's mayor, Mike Moss, is removed from office. What this means for the community.
And we've got some dense fog across the area this morning. Got cloudy skies as well, but slightly warmer. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, more details emerging after a shooter opened fire at an Annunciation Catholic church in Minneapolis.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAO Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Friday, August the 29th. And if you were with us just a minute ago, you probably heard me just suddenly go, oh my. As I was coming around from the last of the weather, Elise is here and she's just pointing out at the floor, and I see her pointing and there was something moving on the floor. Thankfully, it was just a moth. We're fine.
Yes,
we're
good.
It was
something else.
It's hard to tell. Yeah, I mean, we have all these lights here, but from here, it's very dark out there, and it's hard to tell for sure what you're looking at sometimes. Thankfully, though, for now, nothing serious going on, but you never know. And hopefully you don't have any creatures in your house this morning, and if you do, maybe you can shoo them out the window as you head out, but make sure you're prepared for some fog. We're going to start with that live look downtown Pittsburg. Things are looking good. Like I said, when I got here, I don't know, 3:30 this morning or so, looking at the downtown Pittsburg camera, we actually had some denser fog earlier this morning, but that has kind of eased up a bit, but we still have reduced visibilities. In fact, slightly reduced here from the KDOT camera, 69 East 520th Avenue. Our camera 7th and range line, the clouds are pretty low, but they're not low enough that we're getting fog, at least not from this perspective, or from the MoDOT camera 20th and range line. You can see a little bit of it off in the horizon, but nothing too crazy at this point. We do have dense fog advisories for the counties in dark gray through 10 o'clock this morning, and it's because, at least especially up north, the 54 corridor, it's always the 54 corridor, it seems. That's where we've got the densest fog right now. Stockton, Nevada, Fort Scott, Iola, less than a mile. Iola's at 0 visibility. Yates Center, Pittsburg, Carthage, Joplin. We do have patchy fog outside of that zone too. Independence, Sedan, Fredonia, slightly reduced visibility. So while the densest fog is expected up here, which is what we've been seeing this morning, we still have some patchy fog outside of that. So low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. Big thing, slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going and watch for the potential for rapidly changing visibilities. On to the future track. Other than mostly cloudy skies for most of this day, not much to really see. Future track thinks a sprinkle or two is possible. If we saw anything, it's like a 2% chance, but there might be a brief little raindrop or two that falls from the sky here or there today. We're looking at low 60s right now, 62 in Joplin as well as Pittsburg. Around the region, we do have some cooler temperatures. Nevada now looking to be the cool spot at 54. Ben Stockton at 55, but you come back down just a little bit. Most of us in the low to mid 60s. Neodesha and Sedan still the warmer spots, sitting at 66 this morning. Kids getting on the bus, we're looking to be right about 60, still foggy out there. Low 70s by lunch and recess time, and upper 70s when the bus brings them back home or they start that journey back home. Fog again through about 10 o'clock this morning. We'll be into the mid 60s by 9, low 70s by noon. Our highs today warmer, even though it's going to be cloudy most of the day. We're going to be warmer, upper 70s and low 80s. We'll have another look at your forecast, talk about how your holiday weekend is shaping up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, after hours of testimony, the Carl Junction Board of Aldermen voted to remove Mayor Mike Moss from office. The impeachment hearing comes after 4 articles of impeachment were brought against Mayor Moss following allegations of workplace harassment. Tuesday night, city employees began testifying about alleged workplace harassment, including inappropriate physical positioning and comments that made coming to work difficult. Moss was also investigated for repeatedly asking the city administrator about retirement plans. The mayor's legal team called the proceedings a voter nullification, but council members said impact matters more than intention. Last night, the board voted to remove Moss from office immediately, declaring the mayor's position vacant. This morning, we're learning more about the Minneapolis church shooting that took the lives of 2 young children and injured 18 people. Police now say the suspect has been a member of the Catholic Church where the shooting took place and may have visited the church in the weeks leading up to the attack to conduct surveillance. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from New York.
A coward decided to take our 8-year-old son Fletcher away from us. Incredible sadness for the families of Fletcher Merkel and 10-year-old Harper Moisky, killed when a person opened fire on Annunciation Catholic Church Wednesday.
Please remember Fletcher for the person he was and not the act that ended his life. Give your kids an extra hug and kiss today.
Harper's parents wrote they are shattered and called on leaders to do more to address gun violence and mental health. Yesterday, the mayor of Minneapolis called for stronger gun safety laws.
There is no reason that someone should be able to reel off 30 shots before they even have to reload.
Police say the shooter, identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman, couldn't even see the hundreds of students and staff inside the church as bullets shattered the stained glass windows. At the scene, they found about 116 rifle rounds, 3 shotgun shells, and a live handgun round that police believe jammed in the chamber. Also, 3 legally purchased guns.
The shooter expressed hate towards almost every group imaginable. The shooter idolized some of the most notorious school shooters and mass murderers in our country's history.
In the search for answers, police say they're combing through hundreds of journal pages from the suspected shooter that they describe as full of hate and disturbing.
Now, police say hundreds of pieces of evidence have been recovered after they executed search warrants on 3 residents connected to the shooter. Investigators are also examining the suspect's electronic devices. A Missouri's sweeping safety bill, House Bill 495, went into effect yesterday. Much of it focuses on property crimes, and as Adam Woodbury reports, one of the biggest changes targets vehicle break-ins and punishing those criminals.
So hopefully this will be the deterrent that we need, that will curb that instinct and that opportunity for suspects to do that.
Every year when August 28th rolls around, the newest public safety laws go into effect. Each year, lawmakers approve a slew of changes, often focusing on a specific type of crime. This year, property crimes are a hot topic.
In this particular instance, House Bill 495 does make some significant modifications, and you can tell that the House is really wanting to crack down on vehicle break-in.
Defense attorney Adam Woody says the legislature created a new statute when it comes to vehicle break-ins. Doing that is now a second-degree burglary and a Class E felony that could get you 4 years in prison.
So if someone unlawfully enters a vehicle for the purpose of committing a crime therein, and that would be any part of the body entering that vehicle, or even an object connected to the body entering the vehicle, that's now burglary along with buildings or inhabitable structures.
A lot of car break-ins happen when crooks check handles for unlocked doors. That's something this new law hopes to crack down on.
So if an individual is going around and checking the handles and trying to get into several different vehicles, for example, in a parking lot or parking garage, and we have that evidence they've been doing that, now with this new law, we can charge them with a felony.
The bill also goes over organized retail theft, which Springfield Police Lieutenant Jennifer Charleston says will crack down on thieves who are targeting multiple stores and people who try to make money by returning goods or reselling them.
So this is going to be very helpful for us because it adds another tool for us to hold criminals accountable from stealing from our area businesses here in Springfield.
Now, these are just 2 parts of the new law. It also increases prison times for people convicted of sex trafficking, ends non-disclosure agreements in sexual abuse cases, and it increases penalties for tampering with water supplies in Missouri. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News. It's been 20 years since Hurricane Katrina touched down in the U.S., and some places are still in recovery mode. Plus, find out what to watch over your long Labor Day weekend with a look at today's Eye on Entertainment. And later, Chris returns with another look at your Friday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now, 6:09. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Yates Center downtown square. Well, topping Nation Watch, 20 years ago today, Hurricane Katrina made its second and most destructive landfall in the U.S., coming ashore in southeast Louisiana. But the powerful storm left a lasting blow in places like Biloxi, Mississippi as well. CBS's Katie Weiss reports the community is still in recovery mode.
Hurricane Katrina didn't spare Biloxi, Mississippi.
We swam down 4 houses, and this lady took us in and gave me these clothes, and here I am.
20 years later, the city is still rebuilding.
The water would have been over our heads.
Yeah, we've been 10 foot over our heads.
During Katrina?
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mayor Fofo Gillich says it's been a constant battle with FEMA. To rebuild the city's pier stronger than before, they need $4 million. But he says FEMA has a different number.
$555,000, which was absolutely, in my mind, ridiculous.
The biggest unfinished project, upgrades to the city's sewage and stormwater system to better protect the city from the next monster storm.
We can't bid these last 2 projects unless we have assurance of funding.
FEMA still owes Biloxi $34 million to finish the work planned 20 years ago. But the mayor says the cost of supplies and labor have outpaced that.
How do you really feel about how you've been treated by this agency?
Well, it's just ridiculous. That's how I really feel. Come on.
FEMA has said throughout the years that your city wasn't using the money appropriately or was, making mistakes, and how the city was using the money.
I can tell you that's not right. Bottom line, I'm here to say we've done everything we could possibly do.
Biloxi is not alone. We found more than 200 other FEMA Katrina relief projects meant to help municipalities across Louisiana and Mississippi that still aren't done.
Almost like dealing with insurance agents, delay, depose, and deny.
This as Congress hashes out a potential overhaul of FEMA. U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem testified before Congress in May.
We still have claims outstanding in FEMA from Hurricane Katrina, wildfire claims from out west that are 10 years old. So that needs to end, and this needs some integrity to it, and making sure the federal government's there for support, but the states are empowered to do the emergency response is very important to President Trump.
We reached out to FEMA for comment and are still waiting for a response. Mayor Gillich is cautiously optimistic.
How much longer do you think it's going to take before these get done?
I think good 3 years. Again, the end result is righteous. It's going to be something that we can sustain a lot of the things, as far as what Mother Nature throws at us.
Nerve-wracking uncertainty as another hurricane season heats up.
Well, still to come, your daily dose of pop culture. We look at today's Eye on Entertainment. That's up next. Plus, another look at the weather for this holiday weekend. Well, toxic superheroes, alien conspiracies, and a love story that pits science against the heart. Nick Zajovic has your Eye on Entertainment.
It's gooey, it's gory, and it's back on the big screen. Cult classic The Toxic Avenger has returned. The remake of the 1980s hit stars Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage, alongside Elijah Wood and Kevin Bacon. There you are. For Wood, the role meant a metamorphosis, something he says doesn't come around often.
I haven't really gotten the opportunity to transform like that many times for a film or for a character. So it was just a thrill to totally transform and physically be represented in such a different way.
Toxic Avengers is in theaters now.
Good morning, Corey.
Emma Stone stars in the film Bugonia, a dark comedy sci-fi thriller where conspiracy theories collide with reality.
There is no possible scenario.
Follows 2 young men convinced that their corporate boss is more than just ruthless in business.
Where's my hair?
They believe she's an alien. Bugonia hits theaters October 24th.
Tell me that I'm making a good decision.
No, awful.
All of You, a tender and thought-provoking romantic drama, is coming to Apple TV. In the movie, a groundbreaking soulmates test drives a wedge between 2 lifelong friends, played by Brett Goldstein and Imogen Poots. They then spend the next 12 years fighting to stay on the paths they've chosen with their supposed soulmates, despite the undeniable pull that they're meant to be with each other. All of Us hits Apple TV Plus September 26th. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Nick Zajovic, CBS News, Los Angeles.
All right, let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we still have some dense fog out there, especially in our northern counties, but we could see dense fog further south of that as well. We'll take a look at where those advisories are and how our holiday weekend is looking when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now is 5:19. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:22 on this Friday morning, and we do have dense fog advisories once again across a good portion of the area, and that is, of course, because, well, we're getting some dense fog this morning. Mentioned it yesterday that it was going to happen, and it certainly is, especially, once again, the usual spot, the usual suspects, the 54 corridors where we have right now the densest fog. Stockton, Nevada, Fort Scott, Iola back toward Yates Center. Iola has been at zero visibility. You've been at zero visibility most of this morning. Fort Scott, you haven't been far behind. You've ranged anywhere from a tenth of a mile to maybe just under a mile of visibility. Nevada, Stockton at a mile. So this is, of course, 54, 69, I-49. And we do have patchy fog outside, so we have the dense fog advisories in this zone, but we do have some patchy fog outside of that as well. So if you're waking up, you're like, oh, I'm not under a dense fog advisory. It doesn't mean you wouldn't see something. The dense fog advisory is simply because the thickest fog is staying out in that zone. And really, so far this morning, it's been confined up north. But also, as we've discussed, remember, these are just specific points on this map that this data is coming from. There can be different visibilities in between. A great example of this, really anytime we have fog, is this number comes from the Joplin Airport. The Joplin Airport's way on the north side of the city, and sometimes it gets foggier out there than it does in the rest of the city, so that's why you want to make sure you're prepared as well for those rapidly changing visibilities. After the fog burns off, about 10 o'clock this morning, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies. Future Track thinks there might be a sprinkle or two. It's like a 2% chance if we were going to see anything at all. It's not a great chance. We'll go partly cloudy late this evening and overnight, and then we'll have another round of dense fog. I'll get us started back at partly to mostly cloudy skies for Saturday. As the morning progresses, fog burns off, we go back to partly cloudy skies, but then we've got opportunities for isolated to widely scattered pop-up showers and storms. So again, not rain everywhere all at once, but at least there's that chance. And the biggest thing with pop-up storms, especially with the holiday weekend, anytime, but especially with the holiday weekend, when thunder roars, head indoors. If you can hear the thunder, you're close enough to be struck by lightning. So if you're out doing anything outdoors for the holiday weekend, just keep that simple rule in mind. It should keep you just fine as we go through this weekend. By Sunday, we're partly to mostly cloudy to start. Could get a couple of organized showers out there, but they would be brief. It's otherwise back to pop-up showers and storms, and then those will begin to clear out again once we start heading later into the evening on Sunday. All right, so you can see from 7th and Rangeline, we haven't really had that much fog to deal with in the city at this point, at least from the camera perspective, but we still have that dense fog out there. Low 60s to start, near 70 though by 11 o'clock this morning. Our temperatures, even though we're going to be mostly cloudy, we are going to be warmer as we go into the upper 70s and low 80s with that southeast wind 5 to 10. Again, partly cloudy, but not until late this evening. Near 70 by 10, low 60s overnight, and as I mentioned, the return of that fog, our winds expected to be calm. And as we go through the holiday weekend, again, the pop-up storm chances through Labor Day, but they will be isolated. Not everybody will get rain. So don't cancel your holiday weekend plans. Just have a safe, dry spot to go just in case. Low to mid 80s out there. And next week, temperatures bouncing back and forth a bit, but we're looking at hanging out in the 70s and 80s as we roll into the first week of September. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, an added benefit from a common vaccine, people who get the shingles vaccine have a lower risk of heart attack and stroke. A study in Europe found adults 50 and older who received the vaccine for shingles, also known as herpes zoster, had a 16% lower chance of having a major cardiovascular event. The CDC recommends 2 doses of the shingles vaccine for adults age 40 and over to prevent shingles and other related complications. Well, 80% of Americans have no idea that a person could have early stage prostate cancer with no symptoms. The findings of an Ohio State University survey underscore why regular screenings are so important. Prostate cancer is one of the most common cancers among men and affects 300,000 Americans every year. But if caught early, it's highly treatable. And a new study finds that college alcohol abuse can cause harm even to students who don't drink. An alcohol research group survey found 15% of students said they'd been harassed by someone under the influence of alcohol, and 5% had been physically assaulted or experienced unwanted sexual contact. 3% reported others' alcohol abuse hurt them academically, including having to drop a class or take on extra work. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, Pittsburgh's fire chief takes on a new role. We'll have the details and what the plan is for filling his seat.
And we've got some patchy fog out there, dense fog for some of us. Temperatures a little warmer today as well. Look at all that coming up.
Plus, the JRAH wants to hear from you about how to improve the Joplin area.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's finally Friday here in the 4 states. August the 29th, the last week of August, getting ready to come to a close, and we'll be rolling into September.
Certainly.
That's all you need to know for now. Okay. All right, I've seen Jeremiah Johnson's on YouTube, I think, now on their free movies. I might have to check it out because that's really all I know is that one line. Anyway, it's a bit foggy out there this morning. We've got the fog tracker running. We got some dense fog advisories. But first, our traditional look outside downtown Pittsburgh. There you go. It's cloudy this morning. It will be cloudy through this morning as well. If you look, you can see just that light haze. Fog is not super dense here in Pittsburgh, but it is there. South of Pittsburgh, you can see it as well. It's kind of hidden behind this banner, but you kind of get that view even back through the trees here on the KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue. Our camera 7th and range light, we've seen it. Look off in the distance and see some light fog, but nothing too crazy. Same from the MoDOT camera here, 20th and range line in Joplin. But we do have dense fog advisories, which do include Joplin, Pittsburgh as well. But the northeastern half of our viewing area with these dense fog advisories, and really the typical culprit here is the 54 corridor. And that's where our densest fog has been most of this morning. Iola has been at 0 visibility all morning long. All right, we went on the air at 5 o'clock. We're an hour and a half in and still no change. So you've really got to take it seriously because we're talking some very dense fog on major highways in our area as well, including, of course, 54, 69, I-49. Reduced visibilities outside of that as well, and outside of the dense fog advisories, Independence, Sedan, Fredonia, for example, some slightly reduced visibilities as well. So even if you're not under the advisory, doesn't mean you couldn't still run into some patchy fog. Once that burns off, about 10 o'clock or so, I feel like I ran a marathon. I don't know what's going on. 10 o'clock or so this morning will be mostly cloudy for most of this day. In fact, it won't be until 8, 9 o'clock that we'll start to see partly cloudy skies. And outside of that, again, it'll be mostly cloudy. Won't stop us from warming up, though. 62, both Joplin and Pittsburgh. Temperatures this morning, some of us a bit of a chilly start out there. Right now, it looks like Stockton's back to being the cool spot at 55 degrees. We've got several communities tied for warmer spots. Most of us, though, low to mid 60s as we get this day started. Kids getting on the bus right about 60. Cloudy, foggy out there, mostly cloudy, lunch and recess time, low 70s and upper 70s when the bus brings them back home. That's where our highs are headed. We'll go mid 60s by 9, low 70s by noon, and into the upper 70s, maybe some low 80s out there for our high temperatures today. We are going to continue to warm up through the holiday weekend. We do have some slight rain chances this holiday weekend as well. Go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Pittsburgh Fire Chief Taylor Cerny will be transitioning to battalion chief after leading the department for 3 years. His new role will be more hands-on as he'll work more closely with emergency response operations. Though Cerny says he's proud of his work as chief, he says he's found the administrative side less fulfilling.
Overall, it was the best choice for my family, for my career, and I believe for the department. I love running calls. I love going to fires, to medical calls, and being on the truck and being that guy who is able to make a direct difference in somebody's life.
During his time as chief, the department purchased a new engine and is on the verge of acquiring another. Self-contained breathing apparatuses were also improved as well. Cerny will remain chief until the department names a replacement. And the Joplin Regional Alliance for Health is asking the community to help shape the future of healthcare in the region. The group launched a survey to gather feedback from.
We'd like to hear their ideas. We'd like to hear their wants, things that they believe will make healthcare more accessible, easier to use, and more efficient for them to want to interact with, or ideas, things that they don't think are working as well as they'd like, that they can tell us, hey, we want to see this. So new ideas and things that will make it better.
Anyone 18 or older is encouraged to take part, whether you're a patient, a caregiver, or work in the industry. Well, football season is officially underway for Gorilla fans. Fans gathered at the Pit in Pittsburg last night to cheer on the Gorillas in their season opener against Ferris State. The watch party featured food and drink specials, with the crowd rallying together to kick off the football season.
I've been a Pittsburg State University football fan my entire life. There's a photo of my grandpa showing up to the hospital the day I was born with Pitt State booties. So I've been loving Pitt State football for as long as I can remember. I'm a 2023 Pitt State grad, and I just love Pitt State football.
The final score of that game was Pitt State 17, Ferris State 34. And CASA employees receive a pleasant surprise, the gift of a storm-proof playhouse. The initial cost made the children's advocates in Joplin believe the project was out of reach. But as KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, a local church stepped in to make the project a reality.
In the summer, I had approached my boss, Debbie, about getting a playhouse for our backyard.
Erica Freeborn is a CASA employee in Joplin. She had wishes of having a playhouse, but had trouble finding a good deal.
It'd be a little pricey and maybe not exactly what we wanted, and so we approached Brad, who works here as well, and he said he could build us something.
Brad Crane is the advocate supervisor for CASA. He's the one responsible for building this playhouse, but he didn't do it alone.
Kansas City University had their We Care Day. They sent me 9 volunteers, and they helped me pull it off of my trailer and put the pieces out here, and we got 90% of the frame together.
Now, Crane thought he had enough funding to complete the project, but underestimated it. But things took a turn when he received an unexpected phone call from First Baptist Church in Diamond.
Gave us $1,700, which was like $200 more than I expected this to actually cost.
Now, this congregation had no idea of CASA's situation. Tivis Booth is the pastor.
Didn't round the number or anything. It's definitely a God thing that it worked out, and we were excited that it did.
This playhouse is weatherproof, according to Brad, and top-notch security.
Any direction, you should be able to see inside. The inside doesn't have any, the trusses are open, so as long as you're under 7 foot tall, you can stand up inside.
Just as a safe space, even when doing pretend play.
And leaders tell me the playhouse will hopefully bring joy to children for a long time. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
CASA says Jasper County currently has more than 350 children in foster care. They say volunteers are always needed. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. It's Friday, and of course that means we get a visit from Shannon Becker for his Big 3 news stories. We'll be right back. Time now 6:37. But first, here's a live look from the Yates Center downtown square. Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his Big 3 news stories of the week. Shannon, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy to have you as always.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's take a look at the Big 3 live and local stories this week. What's happening where you live? Number 3 this week. Kind of an interesting story here. It was really fun. Ozark Crane and Dale Oglesby. Dale Oglesby used to be the mayor of Galena. And Tilton House Moving all together came on Monday and put in the Route 66 Centennial Arch. It's the only arch for the centennial this next year.
Good.
The Route 66 Association of America have certified it. It's exactly 100 feet wide. Isn't that kind of cool?
That's really
yeah,
cool.
It's really
special
cool.
for Galena
yeah.
too.
And it's going to be a really neat kind of picture opportunity, if you want to say. The truss is actually, the metal came from East Middle School after the tornado. And it wasn't long after that Dale Oglesby said that he was kind of inspired. He's like, hey, that'd be a great idea. You know,
really
so it's been
cool tides for the area, yeah.
more than a decade in the making. Our number 2 story, Joplin News First, live and local, a bomb in the Rosedale neighborhood of Joplin. Well, it was a home that had recently been vacated and someone else had bought it. People behind, it happens a lot, they left a lot of stuff, a lot of junk.
Wow.
And so as someone was cleaning out the residence, they found a suspicious device. And it definitely looked like it. They showed me a picture of it. We didn't share it, couldn't share it publicly.
Of course.
But it looked like something you would call the bomb squad about. Police take a look at it. It's a kind of a lengthy process, but this is the third time in the last, not that they're related, but third time in the last couple of weeks. We had Pierce City, Aurora, now Joplin. These
very interesting,
right? Yeah. I'm sure people obviously can look on the internet and find how to make these things, but they're very dangerous, of course. They did neutralize that bomb. Our number 1 story. You can find on our website all the details about Saturation Saturday, Mothers Against Drunk Driving Heartland. They reminded everyone that it is the most deadly weekend in the United States, Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
So always leading up to Labor Day weekend, they do a thing called Saturation Saturday to remind everybody. So it's funded by federal funds of the Transportation Safety Board, and then it's funneled through, in Missouri, through MoDOT.
Right, okay.
And we say Saturation Patrol, it's not necessarily a checkpoint. They just have more officers on the streets that work in tandem.
Very important.
In Jasper and Newton County, they meet together and drop off their DWI suspects at 32nd and Main, the DWI task force bus, so they can do paperwork and stuff and then get back right on the road and do more of that work. And our bonus story of the week, Smokin' Mocan Dragway. It's the 60th annual Labor Day Classic. I bet you haven't had a chance to go to the drag strip, have you?
You know,
I know that's you are
normally on the top
you are
of the
a
list,
lovely
but I know
lady.
it's
Yes.
so fun for folks, and I have been to a drag week before. Just haven't made my way to this one, but it looks so fun.
It's so cool. I had never been before either until I started working at KOAM. Being there, like they've had me film like right there on the starting line. It is so. It just jars every bone in your body, but it's really exciting. Yeah, it's really exciting. So this weekend, everybody was pulling in last night. They'll be getting in more today.
So fun.
And it should be great weather for the 60th annual Labor Day Classic. And you got to come out and see it. It'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, looks great.
It's our bonus story of the week, KOAM News Now.
Yes, Shannon, as always, thanks so much. Happy to have you. We'll be right back.
Time now for some Friday birthdays, and we're going to start in Parsons with Ella Cowan celebrating birthday number 6 today. Says, hope you have the best birthday. Love, Poppy and Nani.
And a happy 8th birthday to Grayson McBride. It says, love you and hope you have the best day ever. Love, Mommy, Daddy, and Hunter.
That fish looks as happy and excited as he was there. We've also got Ainsley Carr and Moran celebrating birthday number 11. It says, love, Mom, Dad, and Andy.
Also celebrating their 11th birthday. Happy birthday to Sawyer Storm in Jasper.
And in Oswego, Lily Shoulders celebrating birthday number 14 today. A very happy birthday to you.
And a happy 14th birthday to Kaylin Rodriguez in Iola.
And in Columbus, Seth Barton celebrating birthday number 20. Happy birthday, Seth.
And happy birthday to twins Hayden and Peyton Allen turning 21 today.
And we have Gavin Hickson in Redfield, Kansas, celebrating birthday number 21 as well. Says, love you very much from your family.
And in Oswego, a happy 69th birthday to Dale Myers, a grandpa to Lily Shoulders, who we just celebrated a few moments ago. So
talked about a special celebration indeed. I'm sure they'll have a lot of fun, especially now it's a Friday, it's a holiday weekend. Sure, they've got a lot of fun planned. We also have an anniversary heading over to Jasper. Larry and Sheila Harris celebrating 50 years of wedded bliss. I like their jackets there. They've got their names on them. That looks really cool. Like it. Very happy anniversary to the Harris family.
And in Columbus, a happy birthday to Ashley Epler.
And back to Webb City for Tammy Snyder celebrating another year wiser today. Happy birthday, Tammy.
And here's a very important birthday today. One of our IT engineering assistants, Dylan Macedo, celebrating a birthday today. He is an integral part of the
making sure this place runs as smoothly as possible.
Yeah, anytime something's broken, he will walk in about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. He comes to the studio, and I just immediately look at him. He just gets that feeling, though, because he knows I'm telling him something's broken, Dylan. Yeah. So, but a very happy birthday to you, Dylan. Part of that great team and one of those important folks who keeps things running. You listen very well. You're very helpful, and we appreciate that. So, very happy birthday to you. We have another employee birthday.
Yes.
Something's going on. Some kind of party going on here.
Ooh,
Tim Arnson. Now, he was our morning show director. In fact, actually, when I started on mornings, Dylan was our morning show director. And then we had Tim. Tim has moved to evenings. He also has transitioned to Baby Yoda, and that's perfectly fine. So, Tim, we haven't seen you face to face for a while, but a very happy birthday to you again. One of the many folks. Absolutely. There's so many. By the way, we have 3, 4, 5 Tims all working in our control room. Not three Tims, 3 director Tims. One of them's directing now. That's the other one. We got another one. Not all working at the same time. That'd be a little hard to keep track of. But very happy birthday to you, Tim. And that completes our list of birthdays and anniversaries. And of course, who wouldn't want to join the amazing celebration on television? I think everybody would want to, but there's something you need to know, and Elise has it memorized.
Yes, please submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMNews.com. It's important to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen. And also, if you can, please include the date of your celebration when you submit as well.
Very important information there to remember. And again, the reason we don't always recite the deadline to you is what you can't see is on the little screens where we can see ourselves and we see that graphic. There's a clock and another clock over here, and they both cover the deadlines on that graphic for us, so we can't really see it. But you can at home, so make sure you take note of it. And take note of the fog this morning. We have dense fog advisories out there. We have some dense fog, obviously. Our camera, downtown Pittsburgh, some light fog, some patchy fog. But if you take a look, especially further out in the horizon here, further south on Broadway, you can see there is some. We go down south of Pittsburgh to the KDOT camera, 69 East 520th Avenue. Again, if you look, you can still see some of that fog out there as well. Now, our camera 7th and range line, we're actually getting a little bit of blue sky blended in here. But again, off on the horizon is where we've got some of that fog this morning. So then MoDOT camera 20th and range line is getting just bright enough that you can't really see much of anything. However, we do have dense fog advisories continuing through 9 a.m. except for Coffee and Anderson County, because Coffee and Anderson County are covered by Topeka Weather Service Office. They're going until 9 a.m. Everybody else, though, is through 10 a.m. And here's why. Our usual suspects along the 54 corridor where we have some of the densest fog. Iola, you got to be really cautious up here. And this is on a serious note. Iola's has been reporting zero visibility since 4:30 this morning, if not a little earlier. So we're talking very dense fog. That's spreading into Bourbon County, Vernon County, so Stockton, Nevada, Fort Scott, Iola, Yates Center, even Chanute. Very dense fog up there. Slow down. Low beams, not your high beams. Keep distance between you and the car ahead of you. But when you're talking that low of visibility, you can't always see the car ahead of you. That's why you need to really slow down. And watch out for rapidly changing visibilities as well. Remember, these are just points along this line. There could be dense spots even where it doesn't look so bad. And outside of the advisories, Independence, Sedan, Fredonia, we do have some reduced visibilities outside of those dense fog advisory zones as well. Not as significant, that's why there's not an advisory, but still some reduced visibilities. All right, future track. Once fog burns off, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies out there. Future track thinks maybe a sprinkle. If we see anything, like we're talking, it's like a 2% chance. We'll eventually go partly cloudy late evening and overnight before we go mostly cloudy again heading into Saturday morning. And that'll be with also another round of dense fog tonight as well. Saturday, isolated to widely scattered pop-up shower chances. So it's not rain everywhere all at once. So don't cancel your holiday plans. You'll just have a safe, dry place to go just in case. And that warm-up process repeats again on Sunday. Maybe a couple of showers early in the morning. Otherwise, pop-up showers and storms through about 5, 6, and then those will clear out as well. Got another look at your forecast and your wake-up recap in just a moment. And when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., excitement is building at the San Diego Botanical Gardens as the rare corpse flower is on the verge of blooming. That story at 7 a.m. on Fox 14.
This is your wake-up recap for August 29th. The top stories to start your day. Well, the city of Carl Junction is reeling after last night's decision to remove Mayor Mike Moss from office following intense testimonies from city employees about alleged workplace harassment. The board voted to declare the mayor's position vacant. The mayor's legal team argued this was voter nullification, but council members emphasized the impact of the allegations. And the JRAH is actively seeking input from healthcare workers and local residents in Joplin through a newly launched survey. They aim to gather fresh ideas to enhance service accessibility, improve efficiency, and identify critical gaps. The feedback will shape future initiatives, potentially introducing new technologies, programs, and economic opportunities to boost regional employment. And local realtors report that the Joplin housing market remains steady. Homes priced between $150,000 and $250,000 are the most sought after. In July, houses averaged 41 days on the market, according to Realtor.com. And that's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And again, dense fog out there this morning, so do be careful. Outside of that, mostly cloudy today. Highs warmer, upper 70s, some low 80s. We'll go partly cloudy by late evening into the overnight. Then we'll see the return of dense fog tonight, so got to be careful again tomorrow morning. Low 60s, and we'll have calm winds. Isolated pop-up storms through the holiday weekend. So as I've said all morning, don't cancel your plans. Just have a dry place to go just in case. We'll be into the mid 80s, and the first week of September looking pretty good as well, hanging out in the 70s and 80s.
All right, and coming up today at noon, we're making pina colada trifle in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings, Gayle King shares her exclusive interview with Grammy Award winner Sabrina Carpenter. Pop star talks about her songwriting process and shares details about how her personal life influences her music.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, it's been 20 years since Hurricane Katrina left parts of the South devastated. We'll hear how one town is still recovering.
And Shannon Becker back in the studio with his big 3 stories of the week. Earlier, it sounded like we said 3D stories of the week. 3D television's probably coming at some point, just not today. That's going to wrap it up for us for now, though. We'll be back here Monday morning, Labor Day morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.